Speedgaming Online. We have a winners bracket round 2 match. Pretty exciting, actually. We've got two probably from some of the top best members, of Randomizer. We have Gem versus tstew in an open spoiler match. You see the countdown already ticking down on their study period. They're going to be basically ready to start playing in just under 1 minute. I am Claire Mouse. Joined with me is actually extremely talented player himself, Skelly. Tracking for us today is Jandy B. Yo, Skelly, how's it going?
Yo, I'm looking forward to this match. Like you said, this is going to be a super high level one. Both these guys are always signing up for like any pickup spoiler race I ever see, or like spoiler on ladder. They're both really experienced in this mode, and it should be a lot of fun.
Oh yeah, for sure. And and this is not only like the first. This is like I think the second year maybe of SG, at least spoiler being part of SGL Online. And so I think tstew also participated last year as well. And of course as the Gem. So these guys, as you said, it's a ton more experience. Gain over the course of the years. And I did so. Full disclaimer, Skelly and I did take a quick peek at some of the at least major items in this one. And for those of you who are here for the 9 a.m. match between Powered Mario and Mukde, it is they will be dashing, unlike Mukde and Powered Mario.
Yep, this seed, at least from the little bit we could look at the spoiler log, it's looking pretty nice. It should be a fast one. A lot of really convenient items are going to show up pretty early. Definitely no boots in GT. Yeah, we see both runners heading to Lost Woods immediately to start.
Yeah, this is kind of the nice thing too about having spoiler log. So so the kind of the basic premise of this game. Really nice sync, by the way. This is actually very pretty. Yeah, immediately we have a glove. As you mentioned, just like a lot of very convenient major things, and just like very nice places to go get. I actually missed in this case. They actually did an enemy kill. I think it looks like at least Gem did. Right, and of course other information is also available in the spoiler log as well for the 15-minute study period that they have. You can actually see that tier 1 is bombed, so that's actually a very free resource to be able to just pull. You don't have to worry about buying bombs with money. Actually, I think first source put it early, and especially given that we did find 100 rupees in Sanctuary, it's actually very convenient in order for a bottle vendor here.
Yeah, those bombs could be really nice, especially because there are a lot of cracked walls in CAC. Now, of course, it's spoiler, so we already know if we can skip those or not, but we can see 2 of those cracked walls already being exploded in CAC Wall and Blind's Hut, so... But yeah, tstew found some bombs in a chest anyway, so might actually be a little bit better than doing the tier 1 pull, but both are fast.
Yeah, and I guess we'll end up seeing what happens because and of course tstew's gonna be able to purchase the mitts off of. So we already have Darkhold access, by the way. We had a pearl in Blindside Out. We have a glove from Lost Woods, and we have our mitts in Bottle Vendor.
Yep, and a flute and a hook shot, so
it's true,
we can already go pretty fast.
Yeah, and a bow, of course. Can't. I was actually complaining earlier when I was also looking at the spoiler log. By the way, thank you so much, JDB, for marking all pendants and crystals, for us, because they're certainly not going to do a map check. But every single time, it's like, why when Gem rolls the seed, it's a pendant desert seed, and I told him to stop rolling seeds. Just make tstew do it from now on.
So they've ordered Kakariko slightly differently, but really because they found the flute here and they're going to flute away somewhere afterwards, it doesn't really matter what order they do this stuff.
Yeah. And so, especially I think with people playing more spoiler, people have tried to, just like with any other mode that gets a lot more exposure and practice, people have tried to optimize, some of Kakariko. So, and especially with spoiler, there's not really, too much of a, maybe my opponent will spend 20 minutes finding the ice rod, at the end, so then you can get a little bit more leeway, It's like, if you have a time loss, kind of one of the only ways you can really recoup it, and by you, I mean, is when your opponent also screws up somewhere. So if you can even shave off, and like especially part of the early game, for Kakariko routing, it's actually a very nice place in order to be able to kind of shave off a couple seconds here and there. Like if you can save and quit out a Blindside Out, or like even the well, right? To save yourself like the exit trip, it's super convenient.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, tstew won the chess game, by the way.
Yeah, he's
Humbug,
already
don't
got
worry.
pod money, so that could potentially be relevant.
Ooh, that's true. Actually, that's a good point. See, you can get lucky, you know, in spoiler, just like anything else. And don't worry, Humbug, we're getting the boots real soon. In fact, one of the things that everyone does, in fact, this is the objectively right thing to do in spoiler, is to rush boots. Okay, even if they're in GT, you just rush boots. You can never go wrong. And if somehow you end up not winning the race because, you know, even though you rush boots, you will always win the postmortem.
Exactly. You win the mental battle.
That's right. Yes.
Because playing this game without
yeah.
boots can be that's not even worth winning sometimes.
Yeah. I'm sorry, Skelly. Yeah, those and sometimes, you know, that mantra has been really tried and tested. Really put, you know, some cross-keys runners named Skelly and Telethar into a pretty difficult test to really see how hard it is to win without boots.
Yep.
All right, let's see. We're ordering things slightly different. Oh, okay, so tstew is gonna pick up a little bit of extra magic. I'm actually, I guess, not sure what they're going to do in the near future if they actually need the magic, but it is certainly a very convenient, 5-second pickup basically for the magic.
Yeah, you don't want to find yourself in a situation where you wish you had it and you don't, because that could be really hard to recover from on the fly.
Yeah, and so like even though in this case like you have like the knowledge of like the tree pulls and like the prize packs, sometimes magic is one of the, I think, the most difficult resources to get if it's not, you know, like tier 1 enemy, you know, like the guards drop big magic, right? Or maybe you can like farm a little bit from like the small variety pack or something, because, you know, especially if you like, because there's no other than like half magic, you know, Kakariko, like Light World, unless you're going to escape, don't really, you know, have, I guess, like a lot of like magic, you know, pots available to you, right? Versus like bombs or like arrows, surely you can scrounge up something, you know, somehow. Rupees can lead to bombs, you know, like maybe, you know, you get a random drop or something, you know, or you can just, you know, again, just get lucky, you know, with with Gem being able to get something out of the
Yeah, especially leading up to finishing your first dungeon, because the dungeon prizes are actually a surprisingly important source of magic, because every time you get a crystal or pendant, your magic fills up.
Very true, yeah.
But until that time comes, yeah, it can be kind of hard to find magic.
Yeah, I guess I didn't actually check to see where half magic was in this log, if it was actually somewhere accessible. It is oh, thank you.
It's definitely not.
If that's the case, then we will not be depending on any type of basically free fire rod spams today. That's also fine.
Yeah, so you'll notice our lovely tracker Jandy B has pointed out that TR is a pendant. I can assure you we're never going there this seed. Which means we're never gonna find our half magic and we're never gonna find our lamp. So sad.
Oh no, half magic and lamp, those are like comfort items, you know, especially, you know, in like many situations.
Unless I missed something on Ped, but I don't think I did. I don't think we're ever going to TR.
Oh yeah, sorry, yeah. Spoilers, Ped is actually nothing. I think it was like 50 rupees or something. I looked at it, saw it was nothing, and I probably forgot basically what exactly it was. Yeah, but certainly so far similar, a very similar route so far from tstew and Gem. Maybe we'll get a little bit of divergence so far, because it looks like Gem is rushing to Akina. Nope, we're just doing the same thing. This is, you know, pretty much, you know, great minds think alike type of thing. Minor differences, like tstew is, I don't know, like 10 seconds or something maybe behind, you know, Gem going into Akina. Maybe a little bit more now, thanks to like the kind of like the zigzaggy dashes. But you know, again, in spoiler, like these little seconds will add up. You know, even with the same route, your execution will have a extremely like significant impact. You know, in your time.
Yeah, I think the only major difference, if you can even call it a major difference, was the tstew grabbed a bottle out of Hookshot Cave, which had a bee in it. So he can fill that up with a potion later if he wants. If money is well, you'll have to find some more money. Or maybe Bugnut's a thing. I didn't happen to look, but it's a safety he can use if he wants to.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's true. That's very true. Did you happen to know if it was a good bee or not? If it was a good bee, you could potentially sell it.
I'm not sure. That's a good question.
Okay. I mean, so like, right, you know, as kind of like pointed out before, you know, tstew got lucky, you know, in chess game, he won the whole thing, right? Mirror and 100 rupees, which is the best possible prize. So he's set for pod money. He doesn't have to scrounge up for it. And you know, any extra money for him is just kind of, you know, gravy, right? Or icing on the cake. You know, if he wants a potion, you know, if he wants to, you know, I don't know. Go for something else, right? He can definitely go do that. Gem, you know, again, he needs to kind of, you know, scrounge up a little bit of extra cash in order to go up to pod. It is a crystal. Not sure how soon we're gonna go get to it. We do need a hammer, but I certainly can see that it's gonna be, you know, pretty soon on our, you know, pretty soon on the docket.
Yeah, he'll probably find some rupees somewhere. We'll see. I mean, there's a lot of rupees in the pool. It's just a matter of how free are they.
True. Yeah, that's true. And sometimes you can get pretty lucky. You know, I didn't actually also check like what the bosses drop. You know, even once in a while, you get a free 20 rupees on blind. You know, maybe free 20 rupees. You know, in blind sell stuff like that.
Yeah.
Have you ever had, you know, mashed potato cake, Karen? I mean, those are pretty tasty.
Mashed potato cake? What?
Yeah. I mean, it's like cake, but with mashed potatoes.
Like with frosting?
That sounds terrible.
Yeah, I don't know about that one.
I was more just thinking like mashed potatoes, like shaped in, you know, the form of a cake.
Okay, that's fun. I can get behind that.
Okay. Look, I haven't had lunch yet. Okay, I'm trying to just figure out what I want, and you know, sometimes words come out differently.
There's our tempered sword already, which is pretty nice. Before any bosses are dead. Not that it matters for blind, but it will matter for a lot of other bosses.
For sure, yeah. Tempered sword, especially for you know players as strong as, you know, Gem and tstew. I mean, this is like pure peak comfort. You know, boots, tempered sword. Honestly, like, you know, 5 parts blue mail, safe, especially on spoiler this early. You know, is I think already pretty luxurious. Like we've seen some other, you know, games where your 4th heart container comes from 4 part pieces that you had to kind of, you know, scramble together in order to go get, and then that's kind of like the extent of your, you know, extent of your safety, right? Maybe you can go out of your way to go get another heart container somewhere, but you're fighting Mothula on like 4 hearts, maybe Master Sword if you're lucky, you know, Cold Stare on like, you know, 4 hearts, maybe Blue Mail, you know, with a hammer, and you're just like, this is my life now, I guess. Yeah, they've gotten a lot of like just really comfy items without having to go out of their way whatsoever. Yeah,
like
and of course,
their loadout 10 minutes or 11 minutes in is just like the dream, basically.
Oh yeah. And honestly, like, you know, I wonder every single one I open up a spoiler log, I kind of, you know, wonder like, okay, how bad is the seed to play, you know, by yourself, right? Without, you know, having a look at, you know, the spoiler log. Honestly, this one actually looks pretty good, you know, so far, right? You know, again, they got a lot of safeties in Kakariko, just kind of, you know, in Blind Hut, in the well, we got the early flute, you know, we got pretty early Dark World access, but of course, when you go to Village of Outcast, you get your mirror pretty early. And then, you know, at some point you probably make your way up the mountain, you go find your boots, you see the sword on Floating Island, like, it's very, very nice.
Yeah, so we'll see where they want to go next.
tstew. Oh no. Okay, alright, we're good. Okay. Just got a little improv, it's fine.
Yep, didn't actually lose that much time, but it's very scary when you see your health dropping like that all of a sudden. Because if you have to fight blind a second time, the like subsequent visits to blind are dramatically harder because you can't do the script. So
right. I actually did wonder if actually like a script kind of exists, sort of like for the blind refight, but I feel like if there like actually does exist a script, it's an extremely difficult one to follow.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess the real script is just make sure you don't die in the first place.
Yes. Okay, that is true. That is part of like, that's probably like the only thing on the, you know, on the docket is just don't die, spoiler. You know, if you have that in your reminder post-it notes, you can't go wrong.
We're finally seeing some divergence here. tstew just went into Skull, and looks like Gem is going to do some hammerless Swamp Palace.
Yeah, actually extremely interesting. I wonder in this case if... okay, I did look up where the hammer was. I completely forgot where the hammer is, so we're gonna see. But, you know, I mean, this is... I've always wondered how, you know, how viable and non-intras going to Swamp without the hammer is. Because, you know, the hammer, while after Specky Clip, you don't need it to beat the dungeon anymore, right? Especially if you have the hook shot. But in order to get to Swamp, it's kind of like a terrible trek, right? The only way you can really get there is if you run from Village of Outcasts. And sometimes, like if you can do it if you want to, but right, you're just gonna go up and down the stairs, no problem. We're gonna get a little morning exercise. Yeah, but now I'm really curious to see in this case like why Jem wants to delay Skullwoods. Okay, sorry. Let me rephrase. I understand many reasons why you would not want to fight Mothula on 5 hearts. However, like given that, I think what tstew is doing is probably faster in the long run if you can save yourself an extra village like Dark World trip in. However, though, if you come back and have it be safer and better, then like it might actually save you more time. Like,
I think either way, I think both of them are just going to have to flute 3 and go back in the Dark World portal anyway. It's just kind of a arbitrary ordering, as far as I can tell. I guess Jem got a couple extra hearts by doing this first. But I don't think we're going to see like any different ordering of finding progression this way. Okay.
I mean, for what it's worth, right? So, right, I saw, you mentioned Jem picked up 2 heart containers. One was in the drained item, so he actually like walked out of Swamp, like as in like the portal, or go pick it up, and then he got one for free, like in Flood Room, right? But yeah, having 7 hearts and Tempered Sword and whatever, going into Mothula, which can be, a pretty unpredictable boss. I think it's always going to be. You're always going to want 7 hearts versus 5. tstew has demonstrated how survivable he is. He does not need the extra 2 hearts, although, again, it doesn't hurt to have.
I guess tstew is running out of Skull instead of what I'd said earlier, which was that both of them would flute back to 3. Oh, tstew is going east. Okay, this is different than what I was expecting. Let's see what he's going to find.
Yeah, what
I don't know off the top of my head.
Yes, same. I didn't actually check. I mean, even in spoiler log, sometimes like things get like there are blind spots like Graveyard Ledge or Catfish, but looks like maybe he's not going to go to either. This is just be his way into, I guess, like Pyramid and Pod.
Oh, okay. He's getting the hammer. So the hammer.
Oh, the hammer's here?
Is on Pyramid Ledge, yeah.
Oh.
They're just, I guess, approaching it from opposite directions.
Oh, very, very interesting then.
Yeah, there it is. So, yeah, when tstew decides to do Swamp, he can just go in the portal by Link's house to get there instead. Yeah. Whereas Jem, he's going to have to go back to Skull by fluting the 3. I think in the end, it should be pretty even.
Yeah, because I think, because what happened, I guess, with tstew, right, is that he ended up, walking out of Skullwoods, or, and so that's, I'm not actually sure which ones, I guess maybe the grand scheme of things is going to be probably pretty even. I'm sure one of them's actually, objectively faster, just from time basis, but maybe from a overall, macro, walking out of Skullwoods versus, fluting back and, going over to North Darkworld, maybe it just ends up being about the same.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, hard to say. tstew going in to do Swamp. Jem going to Pod. What do we still need for Go Mode even at this point? Do we need anything?
Yeah, that's a good question. Looking at the tracker now, so we can finish Eastern and Pod. We can finish Hera because we have the mirror, and of course Hera Access. Yeah, we can finish. tstew already beat Skullwoods, and we have Bombos. Where did Jen take Bombos?
Where did he get Bombos?
Maybe here. It's probably here in Swamp. That's my guess. That's the only place tstew hasn't been yet. Oh, on Swamp Boss. Thank you. Okay. Yeah, thank you, Jandy B. Yeah, okay, yeah, we're done. We're done picking up stuff.
Yeah, this one's gonna be a super fast seed. This one's kind of crazy, to be honest.
Yeah, I was even kind of thinking earlier in the seed. I know that there are obviously different levels of difficulty, for seeds. Just like if you play it blind versus not. This one, I don't necessarily think it's maybe beginner's first spoiler log, type of thing. But I mean, in terms of execution, in terms of just trying to find the things that you need, it actually seemed, it seemed pretty comfy, all through and through.
Yeah, it seems pretty simple to route, and it's as far as well. easy to execute as far as spoiler can be easy, I guess.
Oh yeah. No, that's definitely true. Like maybe getting to, you know, it seemed like kind of one of the biggest decisions that these guys had to make was just how do you get the hammer, you know, efficiently? Because again, I mean, okay, there's no good way to sugarcoat or like gravy coat, you know, mid Starkhold access, and especially with like hammer being where it is. Even no hammers on pyramid, right? You're just like, how do I get over there? You know, do I like how do you know, do I run all the way from the village? Do I go to North Dark World because I have the, you know, I have the flippers, you know, and kind of depends on what else you want to do, what comfort level you have. I think that actually can make a pretty significant time difference.
Yeah, it does look like tstew skipped whatever heart container was actually in swamp.
It was in flooded room, so I thought that one was actually pretty free.
Yeah, you might just not know that was there.
Okay, that's certainly very true too. That could be. But yeah, sometimes, you know, especially I think for.
This is fine.
Surely he doesn't need it. It's okay. Another heart container may have helped. Actually, now I think about it.
You could still grab the one that's outside the dam before he flutes away to do something else.
Very true. That's true. Okay, see, we didn't need it. You know, picking up after safeties is just a waste of time. And tstew is going to save on heart refills as well. He only needs to fill up 4.5 hearts as opposed to 6.5 hearts. See, he's thinking ahead.
It's going to be kind of hard to tell which one is in the lead here because they're doing things in a different ordering. It's going to come down to just the little execution differences. Really.
Yeah, and this is one of those things where, ooh, speaking of execution difference, we're actually going to make a quick detour to Potion Shop. I think it's actually pretty prudent, you know, for tstew, given that we don't have half magic, we don't have the lamp, as you mentioned, you know, we're not going to get it, you know, from TR. I can see some potential endgame problems, and maybe, you know, to like, worried maybe about, you know, phase 4 for Ganon, especially worried about like magic pressure for GT climb. And if you're gonna go buy a potion, right, just to kind of make sure that things, you know, don't go terribly wrong at the end, now is a good time to go buy it. Because just in case, you know, something else goes wrong early, like let's say Vitrius, which is, you know, again, Dark Basement, the boss on, you know, 6 hearts, you know, it's always a good idea to have something as a backup.
Yeah, for sure. It's pretty hard to do Dark Basement without taking damage. That said, Gem is like one of the only people I know of who actually can do that. So I hope he pulls out those strats when it's his turn to do Mire.
Oh, for sure. In fact, actually, you know, so sometimes depending on spoiler, you know, they're just like, I think other, you know, and when you play a seed blind, right, there are going to be seeds that kind of, I would say, like favor certain runners type of like styles, you know, routing styles. They like to go to these certain locations more often, right? Just how they end up. How sometimes like they end up finding the items in the right order. I think sometimes also just in spoiler, there are going to be some more difficult things that some runners are probably better suited for or like to have more practice with. For example, you know, as you mentioned, Gem, I think is probably one of the best like dark room people, right? He can pretty much do anything with that lamp. Half of a meme in that, like, there's always a kernel of truth to this. He might be faster without the lamp than with the lamp. It's probably not actually true, but like his dark rooms are, you know, incredibly good. There are also other things where, you know, I think Skelly, I think you were the first one I saw, and you know, people, and Jen was actually one of the ones who said, Skelly can do it that fast, I want to learn, is to be able to do mimic clipping. Sometimes, you know, when you see a Golok bow in pod, we're going, you know?
Yeah, that's a good one to be able to float on demand for sure. So this item layout in Mire is a little interesting. The big key was on the bridge chest, so in theory you could just grab that and then immediately just hover if you wanted to, but we also have the silvers and compass chest. So it's a little bit of a detour, but silvers are pretty nice. They would speed up Ganon quite a bit. And as you were talking about earlier with magic being a thing, a silverless Ganon fight could be kind of tricky if you don't have extra magic available. So I think both of them are probably going to pick that up.
Yeah, I think it probably is overall going to be sort of the time being, as you mentioned, right? Silver is, you know, going to save a lot of time on Ganon, specifically phase 4, and then, you know, whatever else incremental time that you have, right? Especially when health is a very limited commodity, as you mentioned, you know, here in Mire. You know, 5 hearts with NMG strat on the Temper Sword is technically possible. 6 hearts is comfier. I'm not sure what, I guess, like strat tstew necessarily wants to do, but it's also, again, a bit riskier if you're maybe not as well practiced. And so, like, having silvers is an extremely, like, nice safety to be able to have. Also, maybe incrementally faster than, maybe like the NMG fight. I'm sure you'll gain some more time, in the gauntlet as well, like with Flamos too. And you know what would have been nice to have silvers here? This double race. This okay. Yeah. I think we actually also saw this maybe from Gem at at ESA, where he survived like some of the worst things, right? 4-heart Mothula, I don't know, 4-heart Colster or whatever, and then like Eastern Palace, the first dungeon of the game, basically. And it's like this is the hardest dungeon that Gem will ever have to face. Don't worry, everything is cheerful.
And with those red Igors, like when you mess up that strat, it's so annoying to have to recover from that. Also, so this Silver's Vidi kill, tstew is actually going to be 1 arrow short. It's not going to matter that much, but he's going to have to do a little bit of extra damage on the big eyeball here. Oh, that's cool. Okay, I didn't know the math worked out like that, where you could just do like a double spin with Tempered, and then finish him off with the silver. That's nice.
Nice. Okay, mathing? That's right. Yeah, the damage tables for the bosses in general are actually kind of wonky, and I just didn't realize, like, basically, like, every boss or enemy actually has, like, hit points, and just kind of depends on, like, how much damage, like, every weapon does. Silvers do 100 points worth of damage, whatever that means, right? In the units of damage or whatever it is, and yeah, like, the big Igor just has slightly more than 100, so...
Yeah, it's kind of weird because normally, like, you think with like Zelda bosses in general that their health is going to be like evenly divisible by the source of damage, but with Vidi and Silvers, it's not the case at all. It's like if we could shoot like fractions of Silvers, it would take like 1 1/3 silver to kill him or something like that.
There's so much math. Oh yeah, so Chex is pointing out that it's 128 HP. So I'm gonna just trust you, Skelly, when you say it's 1 1/3.
Pretty close, I guess.
Okay, that sounds good. It's too early to do math.
That's power of 2, by the way.
It is, yes. Actually, when I was is that true for every boss? Probably not, but I mean, like, yes. Whenever in this case, especially for like earlier Nintendo games, it is extremely common to see anything that is a power of 2. It just makes things a whole lot nicer and easier. I think honestly, if we humans can count in base 2 or like base 16 or whatever, like I think life would be extremely different.
Yeah. If humans had 16 fingers.
Yes.
We could have
suddenly,
lived in that
we
universe.
also.
Alright, so now we're just doing each other's dungeons at this point. Gem got his silvers as predicted.
Yeah, I am kind of curious now to see like what the difference is, because I'm after Gem's Eastern foray, and because I think he chose to pot Eastern before Meyer Desert. I mean, maybe tstew actually had a slightly better routing decision, in that they're all in go mode, as you mentioned. Does it really matter kind of like what order of stuff they pick things up in? Maybe safeties, but also like you can pick up silvers before Eastern and Helma. I mean, I think you could save incremental amounts of time.
I think Gem is confused. I don't know what just happened. But so after getting the silvers, okay, yeah, he's definitely confused.
Okay. Okay, we just need the big key. Is that right? Somewhere on the bridge? Yes.
Yeah, in the bridge chest.
This is somewhat more expensive, especially for Gem side, to be able to take a little bit of extra time in Meyer. However, though, there is still, I think it's still like an extremely close race between tstew and Gem here. All right, he almost got the hover. Maybe about halfway through. Would have been actually kind of nice, not only for the time save, but also he could have just one more heart basically going into the fight, for downstairs basement. Again, like Meyer especially, health is your most important resource for this dungeon.
Yeah, that's a pretty unfortunate time loss here. I wonder if he maybe just like forgot to even look at where the big key was or something, because we did see he opened spike chest. I think maybe he like was just in a moment of panic, thought that maybe the big key was there, so that's why he grabbed that one.
Yeah, that's also true, right? Yeah, it's also possible that like you don't really kind of like look at where the keys are to the next dungeon you're going to go do until kind of you get closer. So like the premise is that you have the spoiler log, so you know, and you always have access to spoiler log. You just have a nice like 15-minute dedicated study period with it before you start playing, and so that's kind of like your primary time to try and like plan out your macro route, like what you would like to go do. And then, when you kind of get to, let's say, okay, I'm going to go do pod now. All right. When you get to pod, especially when you got that nice, Kiki cutscene, that you're just kind of waiting around doing nothing, you can kind of take a quick peek to see, like, where the keys are. Just like Meyer, you have an entry, you have a whole long Bombos medallion animation. You can kind of take a peek as to, like, where the keys are, and sometimes, you can just, if you run out of time, you forget something, it happens. It's
By the way, I want everyone to go back and watch how Gem does.
Oh, you're right. I totally just kind of glossed over that.
It's insane what he does. Like, it can be kind of hard to tell because you can't see anything, but in the room with the bouncing spike, he has this setup, like a normalized setup, where he actually bonks over the spike as it's bouncing so that he doesn't take any damage, and he's still able to get spooky with it. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Whereas we just saw he just kind of like walked through the spike and took some damage, which is what everyone else does.
I think this is I should actually give Jem more credit for him, because honestly I just like as you kind of mentioned, I just kind of glossed over everything like that he was doing, and because it's so easy sometimes because you watch or at least like the more you kind of watch Jem, because he just does it like so fluidly, it's just like you can almost kind of take it for granted, and that's as you said, is probably one of the most difficult things to actually do in Meyer. Let alone actually probably like in the game to be able to like to be able to do it like consistently and well. So yeah, he definitely shows how how skilled he is in this game.
Yeah, it's a strat that like just in regular rando you probably don't need to bother learning, because normally when you're in Meyer it's pretty late in the game and you have a lot of health anyway. But for things like spoiler, where those extra hearts can make all the difference for Vidi, like if we didn't have silvers, that's a really nice strat to be able to use.
Oh yeah. Alright, and I'm gonna see maybe also another nice thing, I guess, about, or something that maybe Jem needs to be just a little bit more conscious of. So he's coming up on Skullwoods, which I don't think had anything on the boss. I think it was a compass. And then he's gonna go do Hera, and then GT. He needs to find arrows. I mean, okay, he doesn't need to find arrows, but like it would be kind of nice to have like at least one more arrow for the climb.
Yeah.
That to do with silvers.
If he had to, he can grab the arrows under the pot in Mimics 2. But yeah, it would be nice if he just had extra arrows so we could do normal strats in those rooms, because there's arrows in that pot? I didn't know that.
Okay, yes, okay,
Cool.
Alright, so yeah, never mind. We're just gonna go pick up some arrows here in Skullwoods. Jem is also pretty good at remembering where some of the more important pots are, and maybe, slightly been more trained to find more arrows than normal. If you there's a crystal and there's a there's a bow involved, so he might know where some of the more arrow pots are. Nice, buddy.
Yeah, nice dash poke at the end there. That's good.
Yeah, and as you mentioned before, right, having a bit more health, especially in spoiler, you actually saw Jem actually be like a lot more aggressive than whatever you consider to be usual or normal. Like he is blue mail. He has 8 hearts apparently. Like he can really basically just ram himself into Mothula and just get him whatever pokes silver damage that he needs to. tstew, I think, didn't even go in with full health if I remember correctly. But also like if you don't have as much health to spare, you probably can't be as aggressive. So then it's always going to be like this kind of like balance, right, between if you can the faster you finish the fight, we're just not gonna go up the Hera ways. It's fine. Sometimes these things happen, It's like you want to go over a route and then you've just been told that you're not going that way anymore.
Yeah, so when all is said and done, it looks like Jem is a bit ahead. They both had 6 crystals here. Just need to finish off Hera before GT, as you said. Oh, tstew's going back to get more magic, or more potions. I didn't catch where he used the one that he bought earlier.
Yeah, he ended up, I think, actually using it on Helmasaur. So he got phase 1. I think that was fine. Except I think phase 2 kind of was like he was down on half a heart, and so he ended up just using it. Which you know, again, like you should use their potions are only there. You know, they're only valuable if you're alive, and you know they're not fairies. You you can't take them with you when you die. So it's better to just basically take the, whatever, 10 seconds or 5 seconds to use the potion, and if you want another one, it's another, I don't know, like 20, versus like the 2+ minute death that you're gonna take on Helma.
Yeah, that's one of the more painful bosses to die to. It takes forever to get to Helmasaur from the entrance. It's interesting that both of them are going this way. I don't know off the top of my head if this is faster. I know, generally speaking, if you have to do like Hera before.
It's not faster.
Oh.
Okay. Well, suddenly the time difference has shortened up a bit. That is really, really unfortunate. Yeah.
Okay.
So right, you usually don't see something like this happen. But again, you know, this is spoiler. Like lots of things can and will go wrong. Yeah, what Jem was trying to do was we were going to see tstew also do this to some extent as well. Probably try to Hera pop, but I think are you just supposed to push left or something? Maybe the left input didn't go through?
I think there's a couple different ways you can do it, but yeah, a certain directional input when, well, if you do the wrong directional input, I guess I should say, you can get stuck in the wall and you cannot mirror either. So you have to save quit.
Oh, well, okay.
Anyway, what I was trying to say earlier was that it's generally faster to just climb the mountain up the left side, go into Hera, and then go in the Turtle Rock portal to go to GT. That said, we never went to TR, so the portal's not there yet. So maybe this is faster? I don't know.
Yeah, that's actually a good question. I always thought that it was like regardless, that it was going to be faster to go up to Hera first, because you also kind of save yourself the mirror transitions as well.
Right. Yeah.
But maybe tstew and Jem know something that we don't know, because like I would actually imagine at this point Jem probably at least certainly Jem would know maybe like some of the timing differences. But like the fact that he went to Super Bunny twice, right, makes me think that maybe it's gonna be faster.
Yeah, and I guess that choice of route, not that you ever expect to mess up Hera Pot, but it was especially painful for Jem that he had to come here again a second time. Whereas if he had just like mirrored up to Hera instead of going through Super Bunny first, it wouldn't have been as bad of a time loss.
Okay, all right, we got through Hera Pot the second time. Second time is always free. Yeah. Is tstew? Okay, I was actually wondering where tstew is. I guess it's not possible to bonk there, I guess. If you're gonna bonk, you're gonna bonk much earlier. But yeah, it's basically one, I don't know. Oh, I should have, okay, let's see how long tstew takes in order to get downstairs. 36, 26. I would probably estimate to be about a minute between Jem and tstew at this point. Did we just open the middle door?
We did open the middle door.
Oh man, what content! You don't usually see this in anything, unless I guess it's a spoiler.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense here. I mean, I'm assuming that there's no small key in Hope Room. Otherwise, that would have obviously been the move.
Yes.
But yeah, with the key on the torch and the pot key on the left side, you can kind of get 2 keys and then give one back to get to the right side faster. It's a fun little route. Oh, and we have a small key in Compass Room, which is only possible if the big key is also here, so...
Yeah, okay.
That's nice.
Yeah, that is nice. Actually, yeah, I guess, given what you said about, in this case, if there's no small key in Hope Room, well, I mean, if you're gonna play this by yourself, and kind of depends on this case what your typical GT routing is, if you are a Hope Room person first, you may not have a good time in this game, because that, you know, given where the big key is. It looks like Jem, though, opting to not open the middle door. We're just gonna go get the big key. I actually don't know what's faster.
I think what tstew is faster. Probably. I don't know. I'm gonna say tstew is faster, but I do not have evidence to back this up. Anyway, it looked like it was about a 50-second time difference going into the basement, so that's... Unless something bad happens to tstew, that shouldn't be overcomable, but you never know.
Yeah. I mean, things can happen in spoiler. Okay, looks like Gem actually gonna take up the second key as well. So this potentially might be a difference. Like, so tstew, okay, does have a potion as a safety. However, like, that being said, Gem also, like, he has to still go kill the mini Helma upstairs, I think, for the key. Which Gem, in this case, like, he has a second one, so he doesn't have to do anything.
Yep.
tstew is really having, he's having a real ball here in Gauntlet.
Yep, if Gem has a clean Gauntlet, then he's definitely gonna get some time back.
There might be some potion usage in our future soon. I didn't catch where powder was. I'm gonna assume that it was not reasonable.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Yeah, tstew. I mean, so he's a little low on magic. Wait, he does have silver. That's right. So hopefully this will be okay for him.
Yeah, silver, so you can use the potion for magic too if you really wants to.
Monkey. Okay, are we going to use the potion? Out of curiosity.
Okay, I mean, most of the rooms remaining are pretty easy to not get hurt in compared to the Gauntlet. Okay, with those 2 extra hearts, yeah, he probably feels pretty safe now.
Okay, yeah, that's really very true. Until we get to the bridge. Oh no, we already passed the bridge. Yeah, tstew is definitely, and Gem, as you mentioned, he has had actually a very, very good Gauntlet so far, and he's definitely gaining some time on tstew. However, as you did mention, the time difference though between tstew and Gem right now is, it's not insurmountable, but it is still a very tall order.
Yeah. Gem needs tstew to have like a death or a Ganon fall or something at this point. Like the little incremental time saves aren't going to be enough.
Yeah, because I mean, I'm sure that Gem has gained like quite a bit of time on tstew, but like with like a 50-second maybe difference per buffer. Yeah, like even if you gain into like 20 or 30 seconds, which I don't think actually that's the case, but I mean still, like Gem has had a very, very clean Gauntlet so far, and he still needs a little bit of extra in this case here to be a little bit of tstew, just based on execution alone.
Slid into the pit there, but everything's fine.
Yeah. Yeah, tstew, I mean, I don't know in this case, like, if he ends up, like, looking at the restream, or, like, you know, looks at Gems, you know, basically knows where he is. I think tstew, if he is looking, he should know that he has a lead. It's not a comfortable lead, but it is a lead. So as long as he just doesn't mess up, you know, he should be okay.
If I'm mathing correctly, I think Gem's gained like 15 seconds or so. 15?
Okay, that's, yeah. I mean, that's very, very good. Like, you know, as I said, Gems has been quite good so far. So. I'm a little unfortunate, I think, for Lamos too, in that he missed one silver arrow, but I think also tstew didn't have a 1 cycle either.
Yeah, I think that was a wash, but yeah, Gem needed a gain there instead of a wash.
So we're on cycle 3, I think, of Aga? 4? This is a potential place where Gem can gain a little bit of extra time, but based on the patterns, I'm not sure if... he might be able to get 1 cycle out of this thing, but it might just end up being like a 4 cycle. Oh. Okay, maybe.
Right there.
Yeah, I mean, this could actually be a gain for Gem as well. Okay, so I think that's 1 cycle safe on Gem's side.
Yeah, for those patterns, especially with the 2 blue balls, it's really nice to be able to 3 cycle that fight.
Alright, 42-31 is when tstew drops down. This, I mean, the amount of time that Gem would gain in Gauntlet is pretty nuts.
So, tstew get the 1-in-1 here. Oh, uh-oh.
Oh, no! Oh, no!
Okay.
Oh, no, that was so close. It was, I mean, okay, but keep in mind... Yeah, but I mean, this isn't over, right? Like, you know, Gem still needs to survive, and Gem doesn't even actually get the 1-1 for Ganon. I don't know. I don't know if anyone's watching the other one at this point, because I think Gem probably feels absolutely terrible about about Herapot, and so Gem. Oh my god.
No.
Yeah. Oh my god.
I can't believe this.
It's just so hard. Like, and it's so tstew actually has another shot. I think he's gonna play this kind of like more cautiously now.
Wow. Sorry, I'm just kind of at a loss.
I know. tstew, you can basically see him like really trying to keep his distance down from Ganon, and kind of the difference though for because Gem and tstew ended up taking the death, the warps now are different, right? For Ganon.
They're different than they were in the first round, but they've been the same because they both kind of messed up in the same way.
Okay. I see.
So they both had that same phase 2 in the top left where they're able to do some spins.
Yeah. Okay. tstew is actually going to take some time to actually drink this potion, so he basically just guarantees himself to not die.
Yep, and there it is. The 4th silver from tstew. He's going to win this one after a crazy,
oh my gosh,
crazy sequence.
That was so nuts. And after everything is said and done, I mean, big GG's to tstew. Finishing up very quickly, shortly, with, let's see, 44-41, and spoiler, ridiculous time, and, Gem really not far behind, after how many tragedies have befallen both Gem and tstew, and, it's like, I don't know, 15-second difference, right? 20-second difference?
Yeah, and that's a super fast time, even despite the couple big mistakes we saw.
But this is how spoiler can go, right? Even regardless of the level of safeties, equipment, lack thereof, or anything like that. I mean, it is always still low percent, and it is also still a race setting situation. Things happen.
Yeah. Wow. The final time difference in the end of only 16 seconds. Well, Gem is not out of the tournament yet. This is a double elimination bracket. And with how good he is at spoiler, I still expect him to make a deep run, to be honest.
Yeah, that's certainly within expectation. Yeah, as you mentioned, like so Gem, I think initially when spoiler was first introduced, like I don't really think Gem was actually that big of a spoiler person, as in like I think he was kind of intimidated by the log, and then suddenly, he was like, okay, how bad can this be? He tried one, and then I think he racked up like 30 ladder races for open spoiler one season or something like that. It was kind of crazy. I mean, he just took off, So
yeah, I don't know if we mentioned, but he is the #1 seed of the tournament. And speaking of Gem, we are joined by Gem. GG's.
Yo, Gem, GG's.
Thank you. Oh,
sorry.
A little too hard.
Were you watching the end at all?
Yeah, I was keeping track.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
After all this, I just needed to survive Ganon, I guess. Yeah,
which, well, I mean, it's not easy considering we are also joined by tstew. GG's.
GG's.
Yo, GG's.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I was gonna say. So it was like you and tstew both had some travesties on Ganon. Sorry, it does happen. Yeah, but
yeah,
like, I'll go for it.
Oh yeah, no, the Hera thing was so frustrating. I don't know. I don't know when the last time was that I screwed up Herapot and had to save him crit, but it sure happened this seed.
Yeah, were you watching Gem at all, tstew?
No, I didn't watch the stream at all.
Okay. So I guess you didn't know of the I guess you didn't know suddenly you had a lead going into Hera.
No, I didn't know.
Okay, well that's probably a load off of. Well, I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of back and forth. I guess, like especially toward the end game. But I guess like the early game, your routes were pretty similar. I would say very minor differences. I think tstew, like you ended up picking up the bottle in Hookshot Cave, which I think has saved you actually a few times throughout the course of the seed.
Yes, it definitely did.
Mhm. But I think other than after you guys had all your progression stuff, I don't know, Jem, you went to Pod Eastern first before Meyer Desert, and then I think TC did the opposite. So that was probably the extent of differences. And then, and then at the end, execution happened. So
Yeah, when you guys were going up the mountain for Hera into GT, Jem was maybe like 30 seconds ahead or something like that. But then with the Hera pot, soft lock really swung things the other direction, and then everything was just crazy during Ganon. you guys both had a death, in case you weren't aware. So it was looking like tstew was going to win, then tstew died, and it looked like Jem was going to win, then Jem died. It was an emotional roller coaster.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'll go for it, Jem.
No, you go.
Oh no, okay. I mean, I was gonna say, so like, after you soft locked yourself for Herapod, like, you made up. It was maybe about like a 50-second difference, I think. As it like, when you guys started the search for the GT big key. And I mean, I think Skelly said something like you made up maybe like 15-20 seconds or something just based on the climb alone. You gained 1 extra cycle on Aga 2, and then falling into Ganon, and then yeah. So I mean, so you played very well in the end game. It's just I think it wasn't quite enough, and then tstew died again, and we're like, okay, is this enough? And then like you died, and then we're just like, okay, maybe it's not enough. It was a lot of back and forth.
Yeah. I also had a nice adventure in Meyer. Forgetting twice that I didn't have the big key to open the door.
Yeah, we were trying to figure out what was going on there.
I was like, well, I'll just get the key on, like, I hook over on the bridge to get it. And it's like, guess I didn't quite think that through.
Yep, that makes sense. Okay.
Yeah, I think that, so Meyer was probably, you ended up losing some time in Meyer, but that thing your dark rooms kind of made up for some, at least you got some of it back, like, you ended up doing very well, like a very good basement. Yeah, but I think other than that, like, the seeds seemed pretty, reasonable to route. Safeties were also pretty early, as in you got at least 2 heart containers, I think, in Catcrack or something like that, and Blue Mail,
Yeah.
and I think early enough sword and a flute, and yeah, so I don't think it was too bad.
Yeah, the routing in this one was pretty free, and you got all the safeties on the way too. This was like super kind to see.
Yeah, I felt like the routing was really easy. The only thing that was like I wasn't sure when exactly to do was like get the hammer.
Yeah, you guys did have slightly different approaches to getting the hammer. tstew had a much earlier Skullwoods and then went around like clockwise to get to the hammer, whereas Jem did a counterclockwise loop after Thieves Town, did Hammerless Swamp, and then swung through like Hylia to get the hammer. That's probably one of the very few like routing differences you guys had before you were both like in go mode anyway, where routing didn't make as much of a difference anymore.
Yeah, I figured it's like easier getting to the hammer from the north because you don't have to like swim like all the way around to Lake Hylia, and like you're almost at port at that point. But I think it can't be worth to walk out of Skullwoods. So I just went with the soft route.
Yeah, you also, like with the mitts and the flute, getting back to 3 for Skullwoods later is pretty cheap.
Yeah, I mean, like, it does seem like if you went to Swamp earlier, you got more heart containers out of it. So maybe it was slightly better, like, in terms of safety, if you do the south route first. Because tstew, like, after Thieves Done, he just went to, he did Skullwoods on, like, 5 parts, and then he walked out of Skullwoods and then ran to Pyramid and Pod, and Swamp.
I see.
Yeah. But okay, yeah, but as Kelly mentioned, this is still winners bracket match. So tstew, you get to stay in the winners bracket. I don't think your next round opponent is up yet. It's Magno versus Jammo, I think.
Yep.
I have to go check the bracket. Yeah, okay. So I think Magno's been. It sounds like he's been sick recently. So hopefully, he'll feel better, and then you guys will eventually be able to you'll have a next round opponent. And then Jem, who are you facing? Actually, Pylovin? I think that's who you're facing in Luna's bracket.
I believe you.
Okay, sounds good.
Yep, that looks
Yeah.
right, too.
Okay. All right. No, all good, Magno. All good. You just feel better. Speaking of Jem, please feel better. I hope you had enough energy, basically, even play today.
Yeah, this was fine.
Okay. All right. Yeah, but it was a phenomenal race. Again, maybe a little less tragedy next time. And heartbreak, please,
That's
from
right.
both of you. But yeah, thank you guys again so much.
Yeah, thank you guys so much for commentating. And JDB, thanks for
calling and tracking.
Yeah, gonna be fun to watch this back. Well, except for some parts, but
maybe you can watch. Yeah, yeah. Maybe you can stop again. And that's probably enough. Yeah, and I want to say thank you so much, Andy V, for tracking. Phenomenal job, basically keeping up with everything. It was very fast seed. Everything just came very accurate. And yeah, thank you so much for also keeping us company as well. It was a lot of fun. And thank you so much, Skelly. Blast.
Yeah, thank you. That was a ton of fun.
Oh,
I wish it was longer, but
same. Oh, okay, you know what? I wish it were longer, but I still wish they get early boots. I think I don't know how fast Mufte seed was earlier this morning, but I'm okay with them having boots for the entire time as opposed to no boots.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, I think that might be it for at least for today for SGL. But I think SG is probably pretty jam-packed with stuff because it's the weekend and SGL is going on. Not only, of course, for Link to the Past randomizer, but also for the 10 other tournaments that are going on as well. So just definitely there's plenty of rando to watch. Until then, look forward to whenever Jem and tstew end up scheduling their matches. Have a good rest of the day, everyone.